Hi, I'm Tessa from Tales from Outside the Classroom, and today I am walking you through my much overdue Tracking Student Data in Google Sheets Part 2 video. So in Part 1, I walk you through how to set up this sheet, and I have included this template for you in the description below. So in that video, I show you how to set up conditional formatting, in order to color code by percentage value to show mastery. I showed you how to auto-calculate that percent, showed you how to grab the student names from a student names field, which I have here, and I showed you how to set up formulas so you can quickly and easily see the number of students proficient, as well as your average score. And so this template is set up and ready for you to use. I really like to use this template for my math data. It allows me to quickly and easily see how students are doing standard by standard. So I have every other column colored gray and white because I actually use the white columns for my reassessments later. You can use these for Part A, Part B. You can just use column by column and not track it that way at all. But this video is going to walk through setting up individual student pages based on that data. So I'm going to show you how to set up formulas to do much of the work yourself. But I also already have this done for 1st through 4th grades, and I will show you those at the end of the video, but perhaps you don't like my setup and want to create it yourself, and so this video is for you. So I just created a new tab, a new sheet inside this workbook, and I named it Student 1. You do have to manually name the tabs. There's not a way to embed a formula here, and so this just helps me keep track as I go. And then I am using formulas to do most of the rest of the work. So let's walk through grabbing the formula to take data from another cell. So this is pulling from the student names page. Now it is possible to pull it from the same assessment data page. I just like it pulling from just one source instead of a secondary source. So this is set up to grab whatever is in this student 1 spot. I like to go ahead and put a placeholder there just to help me keep track as I'm going. And then it doesn't take that long to just highlight and change out the student name when I'm using it. So again, you use an equal sign to say this is going to be a formula, and then a single quotation mark, also known as apostrophe, and then the name of whatever this sheet is. Now, I have found I don't need to put an underscore in the space, so I just type apostrophe student space names apostrophe to close out. That's the name of the tab. Then an exclamation mark to say this is coming from another tab, and then the name of the cell. A1. So I've done that. It is pulling that student 1 from this page. Now I do want to note I did have to do formatting on this one to match. So I clicked in that corner, clicked pop-ins, and now I'm ready to go. And I'm going to change the placement of this in just a bit. So next I want to pull the information from the assessment data tab. So doing the same thing to pull the actual assessment data. So I'm putting in that equal sign, quotation mark, assessment data, quotation mark, exclamation mark B1. So it pulls from this cell. And so that is why I have set up that dummy data. You also could have the standard listed in the next column if you would like to see it standard by standard, or the column before. And then I'm having it pull from this cell, whatever the value of this cell is. And this is cell C5. So I have set that up as same thing, assessment data C5. Now I will tell you, I have not found a single way to be able to copy and paste this and have it understand my formulas and what I'm doing exactly. Like I would love to have it understand that I'm using every other letter, B1, D1, F1, H1, that type of thing, and it just doesn't seem to work for me. It also doesn't copy and paste and keep what you had initially with you. So for example, this was U1. If I copy it to paste it in the next one, it does not Well, of course, that one worked. It made a liar out of me, but I've often had it not work. So if it's not working for me, I'm going to try it again. Of course it is. Maybe because it's just one cell. If I was initially copying these cells with it and it wasn't working, so W, X, Y. So one cell at a time it does copy and paste. Otherwise, you can also right click and go to paste special and paste formula only, and that will do the same thing. So that one was W, X, Y, Z, and then next would be AA1 if I remember correctly. So I'm just going to double check, scroll all the way over. It was Z. So I made a mistake. So I'm going to have to go back through and double check those. I will do that away from the video in just a second. So did the same thing here, C5, E5, G5, and unfortunately, even though you think it would learn that pattern if you grab a couple and paste it, in my experience, it doesn't work for me. So I'm going to go ahead and manually adjust these as well. I have this set up just from up until this column, just to give you an idea. I'm going to go ahead and put in some dummy information to show you how it works. So I might just keep that one blank for now and make it up as I go off the top of my head. Now you notice I put the same scale back to back because that is how I use this tracker, but you may use it in a different way. So this gives you an idea of where the information is pulling from, just kind of see how it works. So now you might be like, this doesn't really make it easy to see. So I'm going to show you a couple things that I do to help me understand. So I'm going to merge these two cells by highlighting them both. Click Format, and then Merge Cells. I'm going to merge them horizontally. Then I'm going to center and bold this name and then make it a little bit easier. So that helps me quickly and easily see the information. Then I'm going to set up conditional formatting for this column also to help me understand. So I'm going to do format conditional formatting, and I'm going to do it exactly the same way that I did in the last video. So greater than or equal to 75 is going to be green. Then I'm going to do less than or equal to 60 is going to be red. Oops. Actually, do less than or equal to 59. And then yellow will be is between 75 and 60 will be yellow. I'm going to come back up. I need to add the percent sign. And I'm going to change this right. I don't like how harsh it is. There we go. And then add this percent sign as well. And so now it is color coding based off of that. So I take a little bit more time talking you through the conditional formatting in my part 1 video, but did just want to briefly mention this to you. So Also, as a note, conditional formatting is hierarchical. I'm not sure if that's a word. So you notice the 75% is green because I have that on top. This saves me from trying to do 74.9, something like that. That is something I recently learned after that first video I made. So if I put the yellow one above, it's going to turn it to yellow because it's between 75 and 60. So as long as I put that middle one at the bottom, it helps make it easier where that 59 is going to turn red and that 60 is going to stay yellow. So I am not a pro at math, so there might be some other information in there if you want to get super, super particular. But for what I do, especially at the elementary level, this is good enough for me. So anyway, have that set up and I can see that student information easily here. Okay, so now that I have done the work to set up one student, it is super fast and easy to change it for all of your additional students. Now, I said fast and easy, and you're going to say, this is a lot, but I promise if you do it just step by step with me, it will not be too bad. So the first thing I did was I came down to the tab at the bottom, clicked duplicate, and it just copied everything over. So you can see that's a copy of the sheet, and I'm going to rename it to student 2 to help me keep track. Now, I'm going to take off that copy of and show you that the cell or the tab name gets highlighted in red, and that's because you cannot have tabs with the same name. So I'm going to change it to 2, click outside of it, and now I'm ready to go. I'm going to come up here to the edit, and I'm going to use the find and replace tool. Find and replace is an amazing tool, but there's a couple important things you want to remember as you are working. So first, you want to change this from all sheets to this sheet. This helps make sure you don't change things that are going to mess up your formulas elsewhere. So that's the first step. You want to change this sheet. You also want to search within formulas. That is going to show you the formulas here that you are using. I'm not sure what mistake is happening here with the X and the Z. I will look into that before I move on because obviously there's a mistake since those are two orange. But anyway, it helps me kind of see what were the formulas I put in to make sure I'm not making a mistake. I'm going to change everything that is labeled A1 because see that student names tab. Formula is pulling from A1. I'm going to change every A1 to A2 on this sheet. And again, that's the importance of this sheet, so it's not changing it anywhere else. So that's going to pull from student 1, it's going to change to student 2. Now, it is important to know you have to click this replace all button instead of just clicking done. I have clicked that done too many times and then getting annoyed because nothing has changed. So you can't forget to click the replace. I'm going to show you what's going to happen. I'm going to click replace and it says it has done it 2 times. I always pay attention to what it tells me here because sometimes it changes something I didn't exactly want it to change. So I'm going to click done to come out. I know exactly the change it made it. I'm going to come back over here and show you, see how this was AA1. It changed it to AA2. So I'm going to just change it back to 1. There's probably a formula I can put in there so it changes only the actual A1, but I knew that was going to happen and it just takes a quick second to fix, and you see it is now taking student 2. So I'm going to come back and find and replace again. And again, I need to change it to just this sheet, search within formulas. But now I am going to change where it is pulling that data from. So I'm going to just click in one of the cells and you see that was C5. So because I know I want the row underneath it, I'm going to just say to replace every 5 with 6 because the only 5s on this document are in this spot because everything else, the letter changes, not the number. So while I knew I was going to have to pay attention to the 1 changing to a 2, I don't have to do that here. It's just going to change the 5 to a 6. So I click replace all and it replaced all of these. So now you notice these turned red. And these turned red because I did not put any scores, and so that kid is showing up as a 0 currently since I had put the raw score in. So that is totally okay with me for now, because normally the ones I haven't assessed yet are going to be white because it's going to be, there's no raw score in there. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to click done to exit out. So you can see that these are showing as a 0 and these are showing still as that it's not been calculated yet. So that's because those are these white ones that I did not enter anything with. And it is grabbing this field. So if I put in a 7 here, it is going to go ahead and show that that is that 70%. Because I duplicated the page, that's all I needed to do. And everything else transferred over. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again as well. Duplicate it. Again, quickly change the name. I'm going to just change it to a 3. Exit out, and I'm going to again come to the find and replace, making sure I'm doing just the sheet and formulas, and now I can replace every 2 with a 3. And so this is going to be student 3. Sometimes as you're going, you might forget, wait, what am I changing? And so it's nice to have the tab named that just to help you keep going. While the first time I had to change the 1, I did A1 to try to make sure I didn't change all of these. This time I can just do the 2 and 3 because none of these are going to change. So I can replace every 2 with a 3, should only be 1. Then I'm going to, I don't even need to exit out, I'm going to change every 6 to a 7. Now you can click find and it's going to show you where it's going to change. But I'm going to go ahead and replace all, and it replaced 13 instances because I have 13 here. I can click done, duplicate it again, and keep going. So I think it is worthwhile to take the time to build up student 1, looking exactly how you want it to look before you keep going with the additional students. Because all you have to do with the additional students is pay attention to the formulas you are pulling from, but it will really do most of the work for you. Creating each individual student's page only takes about 10 seconds. One more thing you may want to create for easy viewing of student data is creating a chart. So if I select the data first and then click this chart button, it's going to automatically pick a pie chart. I don't think a pie chart really makes sense here. So I wanted to talk through a couple of the charts that I think are helpful. So one, a column chart, you can choose which direction it goes. A column chart can be helpful just to kind of give you an idea of where students are. Or I also think a line chart is helpful here because a line chart, I think it makes it super easy to see like that one that isn't quite leveling out with all of the rest. Yes, you can see that in other kinds, like a bar graph, but for some reason the line chart just catches my eye. And again, it's pulling the data right away. If you were to forget to select the data first, it's pretty simple to go ahead and have it grab the data. So you insert the chart. It's going to grab it blank. You can grab that as a line chart. You see that data says D2 because that was the cell I had selected. But you can just click, then come here, delete what you have, and then click and highlight what you want. It goes and selects it for you, and then you are good. I have it automatically is pulling the names just because of what I selected. If you had chosen to add an additional column that has the standard, you could have the standard listed here instead. You can change where it's pulling the information from under customize. So the horizontal axis is set up this way, but you can change the chart and axis titles. You can change the font size. Again, you can change all of this. I'm not going to get into everything with the charts, partially because I don't do a whole lot with them. I basically have them set up, I see them and go, but I'm sure there's a lot more helpful information in here if you wanted to set those up. And finally, if you are an elementary teacher and you are interested in tracking your students' math data, I have spreadsheets set up and ready to go for you. So I have set these up slightly differently than I did this one. So I have each domain with its own tab. I have it pre-set up with the Common Core standards just for ease of use, but all of these are editable, so you can customize them for your state standards. Some states like mine modify the Common Core, so these are editable for you. I do have individual student reports pre-set up for you. So this is student 1. I have everything grouped by domain. That's why I have those domains along the bottom. And then I also have a master class average. So I didn't show you in this video how to set up the average. It is the same as it is in my part 1 video. But if you teach 1st through 4th grades, I will have the link to sign up to receive this for free in your inbox by grade level in the description below. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to hear how you are using this with your students.